Hi, I'm John Cranton with JimFeist.com. I'm going to take a look at the 2015 AFC South in the NFL. Well, welcome to the NFL, Marcus Mariota. The truth is, the AFC South only has one gifted NFL quarterback. That's the Colts with Andrew Luck. The Titans, Texans, and Jags are going to be scrambling all year for quarterbacks and for wins. To show you what Vegas thinks about Mariota and the Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars are actually projected to have more wins than Tennessee, which was projected for a last place finish. Now in this division, the Colts are over minus 300 to win the division, so we'll start with them. In fact, one of the prop bets in Vegas is, will the Colts even make the playoffs? Yes is minus 180. Seems kind of cheap, doesn't it, for a team that's probably going to dominate the division this year, maybe even for the next 5 years. Contrast that, the Patriots are over minus 300. Colts seem kind of cheap as they seem to be a shoo-in to win this division. Vegas has them at 9.5 wins. Colts are off 3 consecutive 11-5 campaigns, and they've also been covering betting numbers 22, 12, and 2 against the spread run. And once again, the team to beat in this very weak division. They're 12-0 in division games. Now, the offense ranked number 1 in the NFL in passing, 305.9 yards per game. They were 22nd in rushing behind 25-year-old quarterback Andrew Luck. He had 40 touchdowns, 16 interceptions last year. Certainly carried the team with over 4,700 yards passing. And Luck's sack total has dropped last 3 years from 41 to 32 to 27. They also averaged 28.6 points per game. That was 6th in the NFL. Overall, this looks like one of the best offenses in the NFL. It is a pass-first offense, although they do bring in running back Frank Gore. He's 32 years old, had over 1,100 yards rushing with the 49ers, but they're loaded at wide receiver. You got speedy wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, over 1,300 yards receiving. Tight end Kobe Fleener had 774 yards. Plus, they bring in veteran wide receiver Andre Johnson and rookie wide receiver Philip Dorsett from Miami, a first-round overall pick. Offense coordinator Pep Hamilton insists he wants offensive balance, but why bother with all this quarterbacking and wide receiving talent? This should be the best passing attack in the NFL once again. Now, for all the focus on offense the Colts did in the offseason, they kind of neglected the defense, which wasn't as good as the number 13th overall ranking in yards might suggest. They had a weak division, so they weren't playing many good quarterbacks. When they played the Denver Broncos, they gave up 31. They gave up 30 to the Eagles, gave up 28 to Houston, 51 to the Steelers, 42 to Dallas, and the Patriots mauled them twice last year for 42 and 45 points. Deflated balls or not, this defense is not that impressive. Now, the Colts ranked 12th against the pass and does have talented cornerback Vontae Davis back, but he really can't do it alone. And up front, the Colts are very small. They're capable of getting run over by good ground attacks. They ranked 18th in the NFL against the run. And plus the linebackers, they're not that good at stopping the run and not that very good in pass coverage either. Now, they do bring in 32-year-old linebacker Trent Cole. He had 6.5 sacks with the Philadelphia Eagles. The defense had only 29 sacks last year. And don't forget that 2 years ago, they ranked 26th against the run, allowing 125 yards rushing per game. So they still have plenty of flaws on this defense. And 2 years ago, they had a playoff win against Kansas City. They gave up 44 points in an epic comeback. And that was the defense that got bowled over the next week in a 43-22 loss to the Patriots. Now, Indy has been very good in point differential, plus 55 2 years ago and then plus 89 last season. So this young team is certainly headed in the right direction. They should have no trouble winning this division again. Colts schedule, 3 of their first 5 games are on the road. And they get a showdown with Tom Brady and the Patriots on October 18th. That is must-see television. The Patriots, the last 4 meetings with the Colts over the last 3 years have scored 59, 43, 42, and 45 points on the Colts, all over the total. Now, they do get Denver at home, and road games at the Steelers, Falcons, and Dolphins are really the only toughest tests. Colts, surprisingly, as if you like to play totals, are on a 6-0-1 run under the total. But I can't imagine that continuing. Look for Indy to be a good team to go over the total in September and October. Second place, we'll take a look at the Houston Texans. Vegas has them at 8.5 projected wins. It's a team that's been all over the map the last couple of years. 12-4 record, then a 2-14 record. And then last year under first-year coach Bill O'Brien, they were impressive. 9-7 straight up, 9-6-1 against the spread. 2 years ago, they were outscored by 152 points, but they were plus 65 last year. And for 2015, the Texans really seem set everywhere on the football field except quarterback. Quarterback Ryan Mallett is here again. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions before getting injured last year. And they bring in 29-year-old newcomer Brian Hoyer. Wasn't that productive with the Browns, though, last year. 12 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. The key is that both these quarterbacks played for the Patriots when Bill O'Brien was the offensive coordinator there. Now, there's no shortage of talent around whoever is going to be the quarterback. The offense last year was disappointing, 24th in passing, 21st in rushing, but they should be better than that. You got running back Arian Foster, over 1,200 yards rushing, 4.8 yards per carry. They'll have some new wide receiver targets with rookie Jalen Strong coming aboard, joining Cecil Short. Plus, they have third-year wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins. He was terrific with over 1,200 yards receiving last year. And Houston quarterbacks were only sacked 26 times last year. So a lot of upside with this Houston Texans offense, which is probably going to be significantly better. Now, the defense for Houston, last year they ranked 21st against the pass, 10th against the run. That's why you saw a first-round pick is on cornerback Kevin Johnson. He was at Wake Forest and was the number 16th overall pick. He's going to join number 1 overall pick Jadeveon Clowney from 2 years ago, and he teams with J.J. Watt. Watt, the last 3 years, has had 10.5, 20.5, and 20.5 sacks. They got all-pro linebacker Brian Cushing back healthy. Plus, run stuffer Vince Wilfork arrives from the Patriots. Former Giants safety Stevie Brown moves into the starting lineup opposite Raheem Moore. So this defense is really loaded. The last 4 years, the defense overall is ranked 6, 7, 7, and 17th. And they look like a top 10 defense again. Now the schedule for Houston, this team could actually start 4-0. They got to play Kansas City, Carolina, Tampa Bay, and at Atlanta. In fact, 4 of their first 6 games are on the road. They're going to some of their road games this year at the Bengals, Carolina, at Atlanta, at Jacksonville, at Miami, Bills, Colts, and Titans. It's kind of a mixed bag. Plus, they get the bye in Week 9, which is a nice plus. And if you like to play totals, keep in mind Houston has been pretty good defensively, 36-30-1 under the total the last 4 years. Now, in third place, Vegas has the Jacksonville Jaguars, 5.5 projected over or under wins. Jacksonville has really been dismal the last couple of years. A 3-year run now of 9 wins and 39 losses. They used to be a very good team at home to wager on, but not lately. 4-12 straight up, 4-11-1 against the spread run at home. Gus Bradley is rebuilding this team, but there's not a lot to work with here. The offense was dismal last year, second worst in the NFL in yards per game. They ranked 31st in passing, 21st in rushing, and they were dead last in points with just 15.6 points per game. It all starts with a terrible offensive line, which allowed a whopping 71 sacks last season. Jacksonville quarterbacks the last 3 years have been sacked 50, 50, and 71. Quarterback Blake Bortles certainly took his lumps, 11 touchdown passes, 17 interceptions, and a whopping 55 sacks. He was the number 3 overall pick. Rough rookie campaign. They hope to get him some help with second-round running back T.J. Yeldon from Alabama. And their top 3 wide receivers last year were all rookies, so it's a very, very young offense. Allen Robinson and Marquise Lee were 2 of those wide receivers who are back. So you got an offense that has some top college football talent, but very little NFL experience. You got to look at this offensive line, which has been completely overhauled again, and they had to do that. They got former Dallas Cowboy Jeremy Parnell at right tackle, and they got Steven Wisnowski. He used to be with the Raiders at center. They have a third-round draft pick, and A.J. Kahn. He's going to play at center or at least provide some backup. Remember, they got Luke Joeckel from a couple of years ago, the number 2 overall pick. So it's a revamped offensive line, and you really have to. They've been so dismal of late. Now, the defense hasn't been that much better either. 22nd against the pass, 27th against the run last year. Linebacker core has a couple of good pieces in Paul Posluszny, plus 33-year-old Chris Clemens, very good in sacks. But unfortunately, top pick Dante Fowler, a linebacker, he's already done for the year. Another bad break for a team that just can't seem to catch any. Defensive end Ryan Davis had 6.5 sacks, but overall this defensive line is very thin. Secondary doesn't look that bad with Demetrius McCray, plus Dwayne Gratz is the top cover corner from last season, and they're joined by former Patriots Packers nickelback Vivian House, leaving the Jaguars with a pretty good trio in the secondary, but it's really they're going to have to work on stopping the run. Now Jacksonville, not surprisingly, they're on a good run under the total with a bad offense, 8-4 run under the total. Go back 4 years, they're 35-29 under the total. Schedule for Jacksonville, they're going to open with 2 home games, Carolina and Miami. Yeah, maybe they could be 2-0. But after that, 3 consecutive road games at the Patriots, Colts, and the Bucks. They get some road games all year long against the Ravens, Jets, Saints, Patriots, Texans. That means they're not going to have a winning season. Finally, we'll take a look at the Tennessee Titans, the rebuilding Titans, projected at 5 wins by Las Vegas. And they've been going in the opposite direction, the wrong direction the last 4 years. 9 wins to 6, 7, and now 2 wins. They do have their coach back in Ken Wisenhunt beginning his second year. But this is a team that was outscored by 184 points. That was second worst in the NFL behind the Oakland Raiders. The offense was terrible, 30th in yards, 22nd in passing, 26th in rushing the football, just 15.9 points per game. And they did not cover any Las Vegas betting numbers either. 3-12-1 spread run. Rookie quarterback Marcus Mariota is aboard, joining Zach Mettenberger and 100-year-old Charlie Whitehurst. So there's really no quarterback talent in this group, or certainly very little experience too. Second-round pick Dorian Green-Beckham arrives, along with speedy wide receiver Hakeem Nicks and Kendrell Wright. In fact, Wright was very good with over 1,000 yards and 715 yards receiving in the last 2 years. The running backs aren't that impressive, with Sean Green, 4.2 yards per carry, and rookie running back David Cobb. Tennessee quarterbacks were sacked 50 times last year. And the coaching staff says that they're going to tailor the offense around Mariota's skills. So they're going to have a different look to them if Mariota can stay healthy and win the starting job in preseason. So overall, though, it looks like one of the worst offenses in the NFL, and they have a long way to go. So is there help with the Tennessee defense? Well, no, not really. The defense ranked 27th in yards allowed. They gave up 27.4 points per game. They were 15th against the pass, but 31st against the run, allowing 137.2 yards rushing per game. Only the Cleveland Browns were worse. Sixth-year linebacker Derek Morgan is here, 6.5 sacks. And they also have Zach Brown at linebacker, a thin group up front. Then you got the cornerback Jason McCourty. He's good, but he needs a lot of help in a very weak secondary. They hope some newcomers in Parrish Cox and safety Denoris Searcy can help out. But this team, Tennessee, is on a 10-6 run under the total. Tennessee's schedule can open with 2 road games at Tampa Bay and at the Browns. And they got 4 straight home games. That's going to include the bye week, so they have a nice stretch early in the season. However, they've got a very difficult stretch from November 6th all the way down, playing 6 of 10 games on the road, and that's going to include games at the Jets, Patriots, Colts, Texans, and Saints. Keep in mind, Tennessee has not been covering betting numbers, 13, 32, and 5 against the spread run. Make sure you check out JimFeist.com for NFL and college football articles, previews, betting previews, and new members of the website can sign up for free and get a $50 credit.